Now, what in the carnival is going on here? So it appears that we unfortunately almost had a fight, a scuffle, a scrap take place among some carnival folks, some carnival passengers, while they were visiting a port of call, a destination, an island, if you will. Thankfully, the security was able to break it up before it got too out of hand. However, I do think it's important to show you guys the video footage because it has been going absolutely viral all over Instagram and other social media sites. And as usual, I show all of you guys this educational content because I do believe that there is a lesson to be learned here. Full transparency as we dive into this thing, two things that I want to point out. One, I don't think this is strictly a carnival issue technically. I do believe this is a bad apple issue, a bad people issue. You got people that ain't been nowhere. They get out in public and they don't know how to act. As many of you know, I was just on board the MSC Seascape, just disembarked this morning. There was a domestic violence situation that took place. I did get some video footage of the event, as many of you saw in my previous video, well, 2 videos ago. There was another one that was confirmed, and I even saw live right in front of my very eyes. There was a man that was cheating on his girl. Oh no, it happened. He was cheating on her, right, and he got caught, and I saw it. She slapped him so hard, this man went to the shadow realm. It was absolutely insane. My point is, these things do happen on pretty much every cruise ship, whether it's documented or not. There's just some crazy people that simply shouldn't go anywhere. However, there is some merit to the fact that this stuff seems to happen more on Carnival ships more than any other line. I'll talk about that later on in the video. Also, when it comes to this fight, well, almost fight story, there isn't much context. In fact, there isn't any at all. However, I do believe the lesson to be learned here is more or less the same either way. I think what bothers me the most about that video clip is that we are not looking at teenagers, we're not looking at young adults. Those women there appear to be older, and I'm talking about visibly older. What could cause them to act this way? We're looking at a potentially seasoned cat fight. Thankfully, it was broken up by security, but I don't think there's any justification for something like that to be happening, especially while you're talking about people that are on vacation. As I said, we don't have any context. We don't know the backstory. Maybe Marjorie and Susan were having a very aggressive bingo tournament and one of the other won the tournament. Maybe they skipped the line and somebody got angry about it. Or maybe somebody got a better deal at the White Hennessy while they were in port, and just like that, you got somebody that is angry and just a little jealous. Nevertheless, I do believe that when it comes to all of this, it could have been potentially avoided had it not been for the heat. Seriously, just bear with me for a second. Have you guys noticed, well, maybe it's just me, this summer has been particularly hotter than the rest. I guess maybe it kind of feels like that every year. Maybe it's global warming or something like that. But man, people's blood have been boiling, and I mean this both figuratively and literally. When it gets hot out there, especially from the video clip, it looks like they're somewhere in the Caribbean, maybe a Cozumel or the Bahamas, and people are waiting in line. They've been out in the port all day sweating and whatnot, and they finally just want to get back to the ship, and somebody can be very easily irritated. I was talking to some passengers when I was on my last cruise, and they said the same thing. You got a lot of people that are from, let's say, like New York or maybe the Midwest or something of that nature, and they have never been around this type of heat before, and just like that, you get the blood boiling, and then from there is the potential if somebody crosses you the wrong way, you get the fighting. Anyway, regardless of the reason as to why that whole little conundrum took place, I do believe the perpetrators, of course, after a investigation, should be banned for life from Carnival and potentially all of the other lines as well, and thrown off of the ship. Make them walk the plank. No, I'm joking. But seriously, just have them get off at the next port of call and have them fly their way home because they're obviously a nuisance. They are trouble, and this should not be tolerated. And this is something that unfortunately, even though Carnival has, well, as they say, we're going to step up with all these protocols and rules and regulations and whatnot, it seems to me, and I've been on a lot of Carnival ships this year, that there have been more situations and disorderly conduct on Carnival ships now more than ever before. Of course, as you can imagine, when it comes to this specific topic on Instagram and other social media sites and forums, people are throwing out the typical terms, the Walmart of the seas, Spirit of the seas, Carnival being the ghetto cruise and whatnot. I do believe that there is a potential solution. I've talked about it for quite a while. A lot of people will throw out things like raising the prices. That's how you get the riffraff off. I guess that could be a potential element, I guess, but well, there are a lot of people out there, believe it or not, with money that still act like children and act like however they want to act like and think they're the king and queen of the cruise ships and cause problems regardless of how much they are spending. Nobody cares about the fact that they have an aft balcony suite or whatever it is that everybody's getting on board, president's suite. Nobody really cares. There's still going to be the potential for a lot of people out there that don't know how to act right on board cruise ships. This suggestion here may be an unpopular opinion, especially from the Carnival folks, because they don't like being compared to or having to potentially look up to another line like Royal Caribbean, the loyals to royals. I'm not saying that either one is better than the other one. However, if you notice, at least on the social media end, you don't see a lot of things popping up with Royal Caribbean, well, except for unfortunately that man overboard situation. I'm waiting for an update on that, by the way. But you don't hear about all these fights and all this other stuff, not too often. I've talked about it on my channel plenty of times. However, I do believe that what Royal Caribbean has done has been absolutely amazing. They have brought in people by way of social media influencers. I don't really like the term, but in general, they are using people to create the image that they want portrayed on board their ships. They are always bringing people in as media on board their ships to take all the pictures and videos and whatnot, because what's going to happen is you have a lot of people that have, I want to say, like a pack mentality. It's not a bad thing, but there are a lot of people that want to emulate what it is that they see. And since you have to go where the people are, which is social media, Royal Caribbean's played it smart, and they bring social media figures and public figures on board their ships to create that beautiful image. Maybe I'm a little biased. I would argue just experience in this world, because as many of you know, I take a lot, and I mean a lot of cruises, and I have a different perspective as I'm looking around on board the ships while I am there, trying to figure out what is working, what isn't working. I'm not just going to, let's say for some of you out there, some of you are casino people, you might stay at the casino all day, some of you are show people or dining option people. I go and check out everything, and I do so with a fine-tooth comb. The nightclub is open. I go there at least 10 minutes before. I'm never fashionably late. I like to see the build. I'm there to the very end. I want to see how it all ends. Same with the dining options. I go there early. Same with the shows. I go there early. I stay there after to see how all of it's going down. Is there a meet and greet? I look at all of these elements because I do believe it is a key component in the overall cruising experience. And for me, I do believe that what Royal Caribbean has done as far as creating the image for itself has been absolutely outstanding, and they are definitely top-notch right now. And I would say they are, without a doubt, as far as a general sense, #1 in the world right now. To be clear, I am not trying to gas Royal Caribbean up. I'm just pointing out the obvious from a general and maybe a marketing perspective. Carnival people, let's just take a deep breath. Woo-saw. It's going to be all right. These situations, I do believe, can potentially end and, well, at least lessen down the road. I think Carnival, if they're going to say they're going to tighten up and implement newer policies and stricter policies and regulations, they should continue keeping their foot on the gas and don't let up at all. And then in the meantime, go gather the people, because there aren't much. I follow all of the cruise lines on social media, and as somebody that does it for a living, they ain't doing too hot right now as far as creating the overall image. And I do believe that is the next logical step, because this is the digital world that we're living now. Like I said, you have to, absolutely have to go where the people are, and that place is social media. I'm sorry, I don't mean to get too nerdy there. I just want to kind of point out what I think is the obvious approach. Again, when it comes to this little scuffle, get those people out of here, kick them out. Of course, again, pending an investigation, there's cameras around, see what exactly happened, do an interview, again, do a proper, thorough investigation, and get those people out of here as soon as possible. Something were to happen where you just kind of let these passengers go and there was an actual perpetrator and they are just going around willy-nilly, and they go to tell their friend Margaret and Sarah and Sally Sue that, hey, I was able to get into a fight and they just let me go. That's the ship life. And now you got other people that are on board. I say the same with the drugs. Somebody smokes a doobie, right? A blunt, a spliff, whatever you want to call it. I don't know if I can say it on YouTube, but if somebody is smoking and doing drugs on cruise ships, Carnival, they're going to go back and say, well, Carnival is the smoker's line. You can go there and you're not going to have to deal with any repercussions. There's no security. Then there's only one ship with the dog on board, and boom, now you got a problem. But either way, guys, I'm rambling on. Of course, let me know your thoughts on all of this in the comment section below. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you guys can give me a different perspective in the comments. I would greatly appreciate it. Hit that like button on your way out. Subscribe if you haven't already, and know that I love each and every one of you. I'll see you later. Take it easy.